Hey, I'm Megan Miles. I'm here with our Williamsburg County Supervisor, Stanley Pasley. We're going to just be doing a short interview today with some concerns for our county. And also, this is live, so if you have any questions or concerns, just type them, in the bottom, and it'll come through on my phone, and we'll try to incorporate them in there. So our first question is, the county facilities were in bad shape and in need of much repairs. How were you able to address these needs?
Well, first of all, let me just say thank you and Christian News TY for this opportunity. And certainly we welcome the opportunity to address these concerns that have been raised by a number of citizens through the years. The facilities, the county facilities were in desperately need of repairs. The magistrate building, when we took office about 10 years ago, we were catching buckets, had buckets catching water in those facilities. And as a result of that, we were fortunate enough to identify funds to purchase the old Farmers Home Administration building and relocate the magistrate office into that facility on Short Street. And we demolished the old magistrate office. We were fortunate enough to take advantage of the President Obama's stimulus package, and we did a tremendous amount of building and renovation to a number of the county facilities. We built a new PSA building, we built a new sheriff administration office, renovated the county jail, which was going to be condemned by the Department of Correction, built a new emergency management division, 911 office facility, short-term recovery center, and the crown jewel, as I call it, the courthouse was renovated and hadn't been touched for over 65 years. And that's just the beginning of a transformation of renovations and utilizing resources that were made available through President Obama's stimulus package.
All right. Were there any buildings that the county was leasing or renting at that time?
There was, and a major one was the county DSS building. The county DSS building has been being leased since the late 80s, some 30 years, at the tune of over hundreds of thousands of dollars each year, which resulted in probably millions of dollars of lease payments that were paid over that period of time with no path to ownership. So when we became county supervisor, we went to the landlord to ask the landlord, could we buy the building? And he indicated that it would take us a whole nother year of lease payments to purchase the building. So that building was costing the county millions of dollars. And there were other buildings across the county that certainly that the county was renting and leasing. And now we have built a new DSS building on Hampton Avenue, and I think everybody probably knows where that location is. And now we, through USDA and some other sources of funds, we are now making payments, and in the next 10 to 15 years, the county will own that facility.
Oh, great. Another big concern, I guess, for our county is the hospital. Can you tell us what the status of that is?
Yes, we can, and we're excited, and we're very pleased to announce that we're very, very close to building a brand new hospital. As everybody knows, we lost our hospital during the 2015 flood, and since that time we've worked very hard working with Congressman Clyburn and in the legislative delegation at the federal level, Senator Scott and Senator Graham, and along with the state delegation to be able to have a temporary hospital. And that temporary hospital has provided the county with medical services that would have been lost if we didn't have it. And as a result, now we've been working with the Lake City Regional Hospital and with the Kingstree Hospital, our hospital, in a large hospital in the Columbia area. And we're close to having probably, I would say, about 95% of the funding. And as a result of the funding being available, we should see a brand new hospital being constructed between Lake City and Kingstree within the next 6 to 9 months. We should be able to break ground on that new facility. We're looking at potentially a $50 million facility, brand new, for the county.
What is the current economic status of our county?
We're making a lot of progress with economic development in Williamsburg County. Over the past 10 years, we've been able to reduce our unemployment rate. We were in had double-digit unemployment in the past year. Our unemployment rate has dipped below 7%, and we are creating jobs. We probably have created about 150, 200 jobs within the last year, and probably another 150 to jobs are going to be created in the next 6 months to a year. So we're moving the county in a positive direction. We had investments being made by existing industry. Just this past week, we did a ribbon cutting at Waste Zero in Hemingway for a $2 million investment, which will create probably another 15, 20 jobs in the Hemingway area. The old Firestone facility, we've brought in a new company there, and they're beginning to hire. And as a result of that, we're now having to build a new spec building. And because of the spec building, that'll allow us to be able to have an available building for industry or business that wants to locate in Williamsburg County. We're not where we want to be, but we are doing the things that are necessary to create the kind of opportunities and the job opportunities, and to make doing business in Williamsburg County a good place to be.
All right. As you know, there are concerns expressed by the citizens regarding drainage. How are you addressing these concerns?
You know, that's a great question, and it's a significant concern for the citizens of Williamsburg County. And really, our position and what we've been trying to do is to make sure that a lot of people think that the drainage problem is a Williamsburg County problem, but it's not just the county. It involves a number of agencies. It involves the federal government, the Army Corps of Engineers, the State Department of Transportation, and the county, as well as the local municipalities. And so there's no way that the county in and of itself can address the drainage problem. But we're working collaboratively with these entities to come up with a plan that will allow us to be able to effectively deal with drainage. Most people probably remember this drainage problem goes all the way back to 1989 when we had Hurricane Hugo. And since that time, we've had the 2014 ice storm, the 2015 flood, and the 2016 Hurricane Matthew. And all of these things have really exacerbated or really expanded the problem, made things a lot more difficult in us dealing with drainage. And so the drainage problem is an equal opportunity employer, because that drainage issue is all over Williamsburg County, from Hemingway to Greeleyville, Trio, the Cades, all over. So we recognize that it is a significant problem, and we're forging together and coming up with applications where we can secure resources to be able to address the drainage issue. We've pulled all of these groups together that I mentioned earlier, and we formed a work group, and we are submitting applications. We've identified some potential sources of funding to help us with some analysis and some assessments, and ultimately we're going to need additional manpower and resources to address the drainage issue. And it's not going to be something that can just happen overnight and simply by Williamsburg County government. We're going to need all of these entities working closely with us. But it is a major issue, something that we are keenly aware of, and we're focused on addressing it.
How did you handle the selection of the interim EMD E911 director position?
That was a difficult process because, as you all know, the my opponent in the upcoming election, was the former director of the emergency management, and I say former. She requested a leave of absence, and when she requested that leave of absence to run for county supervisor, it put the county citizens in a very awkward position, as well as the county employees, as well as the emergency management team and system. The fire, EMS, the sheriff, all first responders were, put in a difficult situation. So what we did was we evaluated the issue, how we were going to come up with someone to lead that very important department while we went through the selection process. I was asked to appoint persons, but I didn't want to create any more issues and conflict by appointing someone who was in the system. So we did an assessment, and we were able to identify an individual who had vast experience, an individual who formerly worked for the South Carolina Emergency Management Division as a regional coordinator. And he was actually sent to Williamsburg County as a liaison for the 14 ice storm, the 15 flood, and the 16 hurricane, and had been formerly a sheriff of Lawrence County in the upper part of the state. So this individual was recommended to us by the State Emergency Management Division, and we looked at through the Association of Counties and other resources that we had, and they came up with this individual as a potential candidate, and his credentials were impeccable, and he's doing a fine job. And that's why we went that route, because we didn't want to put the staff and, again, the first responders and the citizens in any jeopardy because of the political implications of my opponent running for the county supervisor position.
Why does Williamsburg County Council not want the citizens to have the right to vote for the position of county supervisor?
Well, they have indicated by their action a week ago, voting unanimously to put the referendum back on a ballot, which was voted 4 years ago. The citizens voted 70% that they did not want to change the form of government. And that was brought forward by the petition from the citizens. Well, this time, this is directly an effort on the part of council themselves. And council has taken it upon themselves to want to change the form of government, because they want the ability to select a county supervisor or an administrator and take that right away from the citizens, who now have the right to vote on the selection of the county supervisor. Everybody has an opportunity to vote, and it's basically about control. And they have concocted this scheme to put this on the ballot, and in conjunction with our opponent. And it's just a conspiracy in order for a few individuals to take the control of the leadership of the supervisor or the chief administrative office position in the county.
We've had a couple of questions come in on the live video. Jason asked, did you drive the county car to New York on personal use?
I don't know where that came from, but no, that did not happen.
Okay. Jason also asked, why not pay fire the same as EMS and police, the same all around the board? Instead of making firemen work on their day they are supposed to get paid for.
That's an administrative issue that I'm not aware of in details, so I would have to talk to the chief and other folks in that office to get a better understanding of what that question is before I could, respond to it intelligently.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. Is there any more that's coming through on y'all's end? All right. Well, that wraps it up for us. I appreciate you coming out and spending time with us and answering all these questions, and good luck in the running, and thank you for watching Christian Youth TV TY. And if you have any more questions, just drop below and maybe we can get them back to the county supervisor and maybe get them answered for you. All right, thank you.
Thank you all very much, and the listening audience as well.